And speaking of turning without turning, they've turned on Sammy Guevara. Boy, howdy. They did a little video on him. How long has it been since we've seen him?
Well, funny enough, apparently he's been. I told you I saw him on a couple of the pre-shows. Him and Dustin teaming up. I think they were the Ring of Honor Tag Champions. But whatever the last thing was, like 3 weeks ago or so, he got stretchered out. He got another concussion. That was some kind of
Oh,
scary incident. I want to say it was like the same night. Wasn't it like him and some girl wrestled Lady Frost and she also landed on her head? It was like there were two incidents in one night where two different
oh, good
wrestlers
Lord.
both got stretchered out. He was one of them.
Well, I mean, he's been gone forever. From Dynamite, and they did a little video on him with the highlights of him, into the voiceover where he said basically he wants to repay AEW for what the company has done for him by taking a bunch of stupid bumps.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of everyone. You have to fight for AEW. I believe in AEW. I got to prove myself to AEW. What is all this? This is like
Hey,
every corporation's dream to have workers so dedicated to the company.
That's what I was going to say. You think a lower level guy at Exxon corporate headquarters, like, we're going to fight for this company.
Yeah, where does that come from? It's a unique thing to wrestling. No other business has like any workers this enthusiastic about proving themselves to the company. Jesus.
Slavishly. But meanwhile, Shelton Benjamin and MVP, however, say they're not here to make friends. They said everything but the exact quote, "We're not here to make friends, we're here to make money." Everything but that exactly. And then they matched Sammy Guevara up with Shelton Benjamin. And it's perfect because let's face it, Sammy is over as an experiment. I'm not talking over as a draw with fans. I'm talking over as in time's up as an experiment. If they weren't going to bring him back with a major push after he's been gone this long, at least from our eyesight, and doing Ring of Honor or whatever the fuck, then apparently he's just pissed off enough people that they've given up. And I'm not saying that he should have beaten Shelton Benjamin here or been in any way competitive with him. No, farther from. This was the best thing on the program. I'm just saying, Sammy ain't gonna make it. As Ernie Ladd said to Bill Watts one time about Junkyard Dog, said, "Bill, your boy ain't gonna make it." So Sammy against Shelton, and whatever Sammy did to his hair, he looked like a 12-year-old girl auditioning for the part of Pippi Longstocking. But this was, again, a rare, perfect match for AEW television. Shelton was aggressive. In the first 10 seconds, he grabbed Sammy and tossed him 10 feet in the air. And Sammy understood what his job was here. He didn't, lay down and sandbag him on anything. But Shelton was aggressive. He was all over Sammy. And then he'd give Sammy the duck and dodge spots and into a dive. And they had the people several times where Sammy would get the hope spot, but then he'd get cut back off. And Shelton would give him one time a big belly to belly on the floor. Or another thing, he'd stop him in some fashion, but he was, again, as we've talked about, working to the level that the other guy's been presented or is being presented at, rather than trying to have the greatest match of all time. He's there to get over. He looks like a giant, Shelton does, in that environment. He is legitimately probably one of, if not the best, natural athletes on the roster. He looks intimidating. MVP looks professional. They've got name recognition. And I've got to think that they're agenting / producing their own matches because these are so unlike anything that's on the rest of the program. It's not anything like Tony's ever done with anybody. They're actually going out and having a match that you can't see through in terms of just complete silliness, and that the guy that's being pushed is being dominant. But then he didn't fucking embarrass Sammy Guevara, but he made him work for shit. And during the heat, he picked him apart. Shelton did. He was not being stressed to the limit. But then when Sammy started a comeback, he had to work for it to make Shelton take a bump. And then when Sammy is on top, MVP, stop playing with your food, which is great, right? And then finally, Sammy's coming off the top, and Shelton hits a super kick and then a leaping potato kick straight from Boise, Idaho. And then a knee lift in the corner and a power slam 1, 2, 3. Perfect. They had a great match. They had the people because they're oohing and ahhing on Shelton shit. And then they'd get with Sammy when he was trying to fire a comeback. So they had the people. Shelton got over. Sammy didn't look like shit, but he didn't get over, but he wasn't supposed to. That's why you put guys that you have formerly used, but you're not particularly wanting to use right now in that position. That doesn't mean that they should have the same match that they did at 2 years ago when you were using them in the main events. That means you're using their name and their reputation to get this new guy over that's worth more to you now. Simple goddamn mathematics. And I refuse to believe anybody but Shelton and MVP are laying these out because they make too much sense. And next week, it's Shelton versus Swerve. And this will be the test because I expect that Shelton will be doing athletic things and Swerve will be doing more athletic things, but it will not degenerate into cartwheeling and Western swing dancing like we see with a lot of the guys that don't have a lot of experience. And also, I think it will make sense. And also, I can't see Shelton losing. He really should win. But if they're not going to put him over, it's too early to have this match. But at the very least, he needs to not lose. And if he's going to lose to Swerve, then they should have had this on pay-per-view in about 3 to 6 months. But otherwise, what do you think?
I think he's going to lose unless Bobby Lashley debuts and saves him or costs Swerve the match.
That's what I'm thinking. But honestly, if they were going to do this early, should have had MVP fuck Swerve on Shelton's behalf. Shelton gets the win. Swerve confronts him the following week, and then Lashley debuts and puts Swerve in the hurt lock while he's about to throttle Shelton in a promo. But that's just me.
I have really liked the way Shelton's been used so far. And I thought he's come across great. I think MVP has come across great. I think MVP has brought a lot to the show to make it feel more professional just by appearing every now and then in a segment with his fucking business card. Not everyone agrees with that assessment.
What?
Have you seen some of the people with a problem with Shelton getting used this way or Shelton getting a push?
What? Who would have a problem with the best segment on the program? How the fuck is there a problem with this? They're doing something right for once. What is the drawback here?
I've been sent this. One of the listeners sent this. I have a quote here. I'm trying to move this screen. Here's Dave Meltzer's comments.
Oh, boy.
You are looking at a guy who literally, in WWE, he has not done anything for years and years. He's 49 years old. He was the bottom of the bottom. Oh. He was on main event losing. You know what I mean? It's the TNA thing. You're making yourself look second rate. And then according to what I'm reading here, Brian Alvarez counters saying this is all true, but he's in a new company and likens it to Ethan Page going to NXT and winning the title quickly. Dave says it's completely different because WWE is, quote, already the superior brand, whereas with AEW, he says the idea is that, and here's another quote, they are the inferior brand, but this accentuates that even more than you think. What? When bottom of the barrel WWE guys come in and look strong and beat your guys. He likens it to TNA's booking in the past. He says he understands why they are doing it and admits that Bobby Lashley was used as a pretty top guy, but says he is also very old.
Oh,
And he
good
doesn't
Lord.
want him beating AEW top guys.
Boy, he looks just every bit as old as Uncle Dave does, doesn't he?
Here's a quote. If I was in charge, I'm not bringing in any second-rate WWE guys. None. There's no point. You've got enough guys on your roster.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If it's a guy in WWE who is a big star, sure. If it's Roman Reigns coming in, that's a different story. The last thing you want to do is enforce that you are the secondary brand and that they are the major league.
Oh, God. It's no secret they're the secondary brand. Anybody that watches either program can figure that out if you've got eyes. And it's not even close. Wrestling fans are going to want to watch the goddamn wrestling program that they want to watch, but they're at the same time, I don't think anybody's going to have any illusions at this point about who's number one. But the thing is, with Dave, the TNA thing was they had great young talent. AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Chris Daniels at the time when he was still young and fetching. They had great talent on the card, and they were taking guys from the WWF that were getting more money to come down and either be lazy or just complain or fucking take a paid vacation to the amusement park in Orlando. That was then. They weren't, they weren't trying to get the company over or themselves over. The younger guys, the underneath guys that were being kept down. That was that problem. If you refuse to bring better quality fucking talent that is willing to work hard and get over into your company here because of the way they've been used in the WWF a while back, then Tony's pretty fucked. Because more of the underneath WWE guys will want to come there than the top guys will. So he's going to have to get used to that, number one. And number two, when it's a guy like Shelton that is in almost every facet of the business better than 90% of the guys on Tony's current roster. He's bigger. He's in better shape. He's got more experience. His work is better. And they might have some guys that can out-promo him, but he's got a manager. So how the fuck when a guy is doing this kind of work, don't bring him in.
And you can't even use his age as an argument because he doesn't look 49 unless you're told he's 49 or unless you stop and think, yeah, I guess I've been seeing him on TV for a very long time.
Yeah, look at that guy and tell me, oh yeah, he's too old. Fuck you.
Younger than Jericho.
And and the thing is, well, yes, as a matter of fact, and also the thing is, I remember, and this was 10 years or so ago, well, a little bit more, when I brought him to Ring of Honor, him and Charlie Haas, Charlie was making fun of him. He said, yeah, Shelton's getting old. He actually has to go to the gym now. Shelton Benjamin obviously he worked out, but in his 20s and 30s, he could eat cheeseburgers from McDonald's. He could now go to the gym, and he could out-jump, out-leap, out-run, out-wrestle, out-anything, anybody. He's just a fucking freak. Nevertheless.
No, but I think that the point is, I think there's something to what Dave's saying. If it's just a mid-card guy from WWE that comes in, as just another person coming in. Shelton came in with MVP, and that little bit has added a lot.
Yeah.
And their presentation on AEW TV, they may have been presented better on AEW TV since they arrived, better than anyone else in the company. And that's including Moxley and his gang of bikers who don't ride bikes, who keep showing up and beating everyone up.
And truckers who look unnatural in a truck.
Do you think Tony is getting closer and closer, and this may be better than what it's been, to like a wacky races kind of situation? Like Moxley and his crew have their pickup truck. Jack Perry has his car. Remember FTR originally showed up, they were in a car. You could have everyone has
Trent's mother in the
minivan. Now it's like Cannonball Run-ish. I think it'd be pretty good.
And they had Penelope Pit Stop.
And no one arrives at the show on time. We've established that. Why don't we show everyone driving to the arena racing each other for some kind of prize?
Well, wait a minute. We've got to the point now where they don't get to the arena until after the show is over. But hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
You talking about the ticket buyers or the wrestlers?
Well, either one.